Tord Reklev is probably one of the more renowned players that we have in the modern age of Pokemon, and he is playing in Fukuoka Champions League, which will be the first major tournament that features the post-rotation format, which is kind of significant. And if we just keep scrolling, this guy is undefeated in day 1, and day 2 is still finishing up right now. He did end up linking he is playing Pikachu EX plus Noctowl, but like most people over in the US haven't even seen what this means. And he's still going pretty strong. I'm not sure if he's going to make TC, he still has to win obviously, but there's still a chance. And so I'm here to predict what he's playing, because I was actually playing, or I was looking at Pokébook the other day. I found this terrestrial box tab here. It's like, what the hell is this? And we're seeing a lot of deck lists with these Lilies Clefairies and these Ogerpons and these Terapagoses, and I'm trying to figure out what is going on. But I ended up playing a version of this deck that seems really strong. So if I had to take a guess, I am suspecting that Tord is playing some type of version of one of these decks. If you keep scrolling through this page, you'll see that there's a lot of different versions. There's not really a specific standard, but they typically feature a high Crispin count, whether that's at like 3 or 4. And so, the deck list I'm going to be showing off today is my version of the deck. We don't have Clefairy in the game, and I actually think the Raikou is potentially stronger outside the fact that Clefairy does hit, Dragapult and Raging Bolt for weakness. But Raikou's not too bad on his own, having the same Rondo attack that Clefairy does, doing damage based off the amount of Pokemon in play, and it also has the Fleet-Footed ability, which is great for just giving you additional value. And on top of that, because we don't have the Lily's Pearl, let me see, yeah, it's right here. This card acts as a life dew for Lily's Pokemon, but because we don't have that, we're going to run Forest Heal Stone instead. So this is my version of the list. I think it's actually pretty good for the standard metagame that we have right now. And transitioning this deck list into a post-rotation format is really not that difficult, because like I said, all we gotta do is cut, one of these energies for a Psychic Energy and add in a Clefairy EX and add in Lily's Pearl, and maybe mess around with a few of the other cards too. But yeah, this is going to be my prediction for what Tord is playing. We'll continue to see as I'm probably uploading the video. But yeah, if you guys enjoy the games, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. And also, if I'm right about Tord playing this deck, then you're forced to share it around with everybody. I don't make the rules, that's just the rules. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the matches. Alrighty, getting started. I know I really didn't explain what the deck was doing, and I feel like it's a little confusing at first glance, but the idea is that because you share a lot of the same energy types with a lot of the core Pokemon that were already in the deck, it becomes really easy to utilize cards such as Crispin or Teal Dance plus Energy Switch to actually get your energies going. Which is where like this whole deck idea comes from, is that we have a lot of strong, efficient attackers, and if we just combine the raw draw power and the consistency that we get from everything being a basic, then we just have a really powerful deck available to us. That said, this is a deck that I think is extremely undertested. I mean, I would not be shocked if I was legitimately the first person to play something like this in our format, as this is a deck that, Japan didn't even really catch on to. But, I am able to get the Energy Switch turn 1 and start swinging for a number. It's not a very respectable number, it's only 80, but between the Fleet-Footed draws and the extra damage I'm putting out, then there's a chance that this can transition into, some value, and I'll still have cards like Pikachu that can work wonders against a single prize Roy Moon deck. Though they do end up dropping the Big Moon EX, which is notable because, one, it means that they are playing, the 2 prizers that I can trade into, but it also means that they can bypass my Pikachu EX. I think one of the big strengths with a deck like this is just like how low to the ground it is. You really don't need a whole lot going for you, and I can suspect the Japanese version is also extremely strong as well, if you are able to use the Lily's Pearl to deny them prizes essentially. They're also going to go ahead and Pokemon Catcher, which seems very rough. As I don't have a whole lot going for me, you really want to hit Rotom Fan turn 1 as you typically do with decks like this. But we couldn't find it, unfortunately, and now we're just stuck with 2 Noctowls in hand. And I will have to burn an energy to retreat, so that's no good. But they put damage on my Pikachu, which is kind of like the best case scenario, because I'm really not too scared of like losing the Pikachu, for example. Mostly because they have the frenzy gouging to get past it anyways, so the Pikachu soak in a hit is pretty fine by me. What I am scared about is my opponent is going to end up taking the prize lead here if they find the knockout against me, simply because me taking out a single prizer does not really matter in the grand scheme of things if they only need to get 2 more knockouts. But they also use Prime Catcher here, and now I'm just like even more confused. I'm trying to figure out like what is going on here. I think they're just trying not to damage themselves using the frenzy gouging, and they could get the stadium for the Calamity Storm. And this is actually kind of good for me, because it's going to lead into a scenario where I can actually get enough damage to knock this out. I just have to find a way to fill my bench, which I'm still trying to figure out how to do that currently, but yeah. Also, excuse me, I think at the time I was doing this, I was gambling on Pokemon Leaf Green. I'm trying to get a Dratini from the lottery, or not the lottery. What's it called? I cannot remember the name of it currently, but I'm trying to try to get stuff from the casino. Anyways, because I have the Fez in the discard, I am able to just thankfully Night Stretcher it out and finally get some value going. I'm gonna go ahead and put down the Terapagos, mostly because I think Crown Opal can maybe be okay for forcing my opponent to go down an unfortunate route here. There is one good thing going on currently though, and it's that there really isn't like a good way for my opponent to beat the Crown Opal. Or at least like not beat without having to use the French and gouging, so that's nice. And the one prize option is just not available to them, even though I think giving up another one prizer kinda doesn't matter at this point. The other thing that's really nice for me is that they have no energy in play. Sure, they have Asanas, but they're still going to have to find a Dark Patch or some other tool to get through all this stuff. Though it is getting a little bit scary if the Roaring Baby Moon is reaching to the point where it can one-shot me. But if it can't, taking out a simple knockout here will be amazing for me, for allowing me to get back into the prize race. Taking out 2 1 prizes will put me back on the map and make it so I only have to take out a 2 prizer, which is good, right? And it seems like my opponent really isn't playing Dark Patches, which seems a little scuffed to me. But, that's their deck, not mine. I'll happily take my win here, as they really don't have a whole lot going for them. I'm just going to go ahead and end up fleet footing, and now I'm just thinking about, okay, what do I want to do next? I think I want to grab the Area 0 at this point, because the Area 0 is going to allow me to expand my bench size and expand the damage I have available to me, while also, just keep me more safe, as having more like options on the field to attack with will just increase my ability to thrive and survive, as they're just gonna go ahead and concede. And yeah, at that point there really wasn't a whole lot they could have done. I wish I could have gotten a boss's orders and just taken out a 2 prizer, but that's also fine too. And now here we're going against a Gardevoir player, which can be a little tricky, being that I'm primarily a 2 prize deck. But I do have a few outs, especially with the Nest Ball in my hand. I'm going to be able to grab Fan Rotom and grab 2 Hootoots and a Noctowl, which will be amazing for me, as it's kind of like the best thing they can hope for. The only other thing you would want is a Tera Pokemon, obviously, but with my other Nest Ball, I can very easily go ahead and grab myself like a Teal Mask Ogerpon or some other Pokemon. I'm grabbing the Raikou, just so I can immediately swing. And, I feel like the swing, on top of the fleet-footed card draw I'm about to get, is extremely solid. With the Crispin, I have to make sure that when I'm grabbing cards, I want to have extra grass energies in my hand available to me anytime that I'm given, because the grass energies can be used with Chill Dance, which is why I end up attaching the metal energy here. I'm not quite sure I've exactly figured out how you're supposed to manage the energy in this matchup, or like when playing this deck. I've sort of just been like, hey, if I can hoard onto grass energies, I am better off doing that, because it just gives you a little bit better value long term if I end up doing that, being able to get the extra card draw and ramp extra energies in play for Energy Switch to fill in any gaps in my attacks. So that's why I end up attaching the metal energy here. That's it. It doesn't really matter because my opponent ends up using Iono, putting everything to the bottom, but I do have a Hoothoot to work off of. Unfortunately, just no Tera Pokemon in play, so it's kind of a bummer. So we're just gonna go ahead and have to settle for other Raikou, which at this point, you know, I can't be too mad about, because Raikou's kind of doing work here. You know, at least very efficiently taking down the Pokemon in front of them. And I do have Fan Rotom in the back who can be ready to take out like a Drifloon if they ever want to send that up to attack with. So I have multiple options here of how to approach the matchup and how to approach, you know, my opponent threatening me. But getting a head start on 2 prizes is really, really good for me, as it will allow me to, you know, hopefully close out the game and not give away too much. My opponent also discards the Manaphy, which can technically be troublesome for them. And I think this is like one of the cool things about this deck is that it's so underexplored and most people aren't really gonna have an idea what's going on, so they're not gonna know like what tech cards they have to be playing against you. So my Wellspring Ogerpon could, for example, take multiple prize knockouts in this matchup, which is nice, and especially because he discarded the Manaphy thinking he doesn't need it. And then, like, you know, Terapagos with the Crown Opal is really strong. I'll back that card up for as long as I possibly can, but Crown Opal is just an amazing tool to have available to your arsenal, just because it forces your opponent to essentially respect it. If they don't, then, you know, there's no saving them. I'm going to go ahead and set the Raikou up, just so we can keep getting that fleet-footed value, as we are going to see the Ogerpon, like I mentioned before, which will also turn on my Stadium, which is super, super helpful for me. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and flip the script. I know I have the Iono sitting in my hand, but, you know, I can't really be too picky about it. I'm also going to make a misplay and attach my energy to the Raikou when I really want to be offering up a single prize option here. My Rotom Fan is going to be good enough for the rest of the game, or for, you know, this point in the game. And so saving the Raikou and not letting them get an extra prize against me possibly can be extremely nice. That said, I didn't have to burn the Energy Switch, because it's not like I'm playing an excessive amount of them. And so having the extra Energy Switch in that could have been helpful for maybe charging up a, like, 1-turn Ogerpon swing. Which, you know, I still need an Energy Switch in order to kill it, even with, like, a Crispin in hand, for example. So, you know, I'm kind of banking a little bit on where I could go with that. Other than that, I think everything else in the deck is kind of self-explanatory. We have to play a high count of Crispin to actually make sure that we're reaching the specific energy types, and there's a lot of different energies you could be playing. I believe if you're playing a post-rotation version of the deck like I am currently, you can maybe even splash in like Radiant Greninja, just to get a little bit extra value out of those card draws that you don't like need. I also thought about Irida, but I don't think we play enough water types to like justify it. But you could possibly splash in like an Irida plus Lumineon package, just to kind of have additional ways of approaching the matchup here. I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of the counter catcher, because at this point, it's simply not going to be very helpful. And I'm going to be working to try to get the Ogerpon attack this turn, which is going to involve me having to use Crispin. But this is a situation where like an extra energy switch could help. Or I'm not even going to do that. I have the Sparkling Crystal, I'm done. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Forest Seal Stone, which is going to give me the extra chance to, what's it called? The extra chance to have a backup plan later. So if the Iono be down to 1, then I still have tools for actually being able to get an attack off. And the Raikou is just going to safely sit on the bench. That's kind of why I really like this pre-rotation build, because I just think like Latias plus Fleet-Footed is like, it's a modest combo, right? It only draws you a card, but it's really nice to just have that additional source of card draw every turn, because one card could go really far, on top of the fact that you're getting a Fezandipiti draw. So having, you know, 4 or like having 5 cards drawn at the start of every turn is extremely good for, you know, just your game plan in general. Here, you know, I'm going to be sitting on quite a few cards here, especially the Boss's Orders, which is looking the most tempting out of all of them, as the Boss's Orders can just essentially let me boss up a Corollia and take a knockout if I don't have a knockout available with, you know, one of my other attackers, such as the Raikou or the Teal Mask. And then also on top of that, my board state's kind of locked in. I really don't have like anything else I really want to have here, so if I was going to toss something, I'd probably toss the Noctowl, the Fan Rotom, and the second Wellspring. I'm not quite sure why I put second Wellspring down. I think in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, you know, it's possible that I could go ahead and get, you know, a spread attack here. But I think that's really unreasonable because I ended up discarding that second energy switch earlier. So there's no way for me to possibly attach all three energies to the Ogerpon this turn without the use of an energy switch and a Teal Mask. And they're going to have to use the Monkey Dory to actually fix their math here and complete a knockout against me, which is going to suck. I am, like, having a little bit of a brain fart here, because I definitely have lethal just sitting in my hand here between the Forest Seal Stone, the Grass Energy, and the boss. So I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out, but all I have to do is Forest Seal Stone for the Grass Energy and attach it and then boss up the Monkey Dory. Like, it's really not that hard, bro. But here I am, just with the extended BN, trying to, like, figure out what else I can do. I think in my head I'm like, oh, I need to kill the Gardevoir in front of me, or because I don't have enough ways of getting energy on and being able to get the attack. So here I am digging even further when I have the Night Stretcher now. Like, I can literally just Night Stretcher for the Grass Energy, and I'm like, oh, I figured it out. Oops. Just excuse me, this is my inexperience on the deck like this. I also think I just, like, completely missed myself having the extra energy in deck, or extra energy on the Ogerpon. I thought all my energies were cleared off the field, so oops, that's a my bad. I'll take the fault on that one, as we're gonna go ahead and, you know, finish that game in a very sloppy, messy manner. And then we're gonna move on to our last game here. I went undefeated when playing this deck. I did go 4-0, I just didn't include one of the games because it just involved massive misplays on both each other's sides, and it was, like, unwatchable. I was like, dude, I cannot commentate over this. This is miserable. And here I, you know, start the Pikachu, and the whole reason I don't feel bad about starting the Pikachu here is because I think my opponent opts to go second, and so the Pikachu can always take a hit, and I'm saying on the Crispin as well, which will allow me to very easily get the attack off next turn. Or my opponent chooses to go first. My bad. I misread the situation here. But they're going to go ahead and, you know, immediately evolve into Flareon, which is a little bit scary just because they're threatening to already ramble this energy. But even better than that is I'm threatening to, you know, attack them next turn. I don't get the attack off this turn, and there's a small chance I could have possibly gambled for it with the research. But I figured, they're not going to be able to do anything in return to me at this moment, so it's kind of best that I just sit here and chill out. And, you know, I go ahead and get an okay set of cards. I really wish I still had the Noctowl in my hand, because I would have used that to grab, like, Nest Ball and Tera Orb to get down to two more Teal Mask, and start drawing a few cards that way, and cycle through will gain more energies in the deck. But thankfully, we do get a Buddy Poffin, which is going to allow me to have even more cards in play, and then I'm also going to be able to get my Teal Mask running. I do wonder if I should have attached the Sparkling Crystal here. I think I might have attached it too hastily, as using the energy on the Pikachu would have not been a bad call. But this does give me, like, an additional energy that I can use next turn with Teal Mask, and just get the little extra card draw. So I could also go, like, Noctowl Energy Switch as a possible out here. So I'm kind of living good. My opponent hasn't even broken through my Resolute Heart yet, and Pikachu is just looking to kind of dominate my opponent here, which is extremely, extremely good for me, as they're going to go ahead and start attaching, you know, all this energy here, and also discard their whole hand as they go ahead and grab a Flareon. Wow. Go ahead and get that Burning Charge rolling and try to get their next attacker going. But really, at this point, like, I kind of have so much in my hand, and I'm so far ahead, because I'm going to very easily be able to take another set of prizes here. And I even get, like, just another Nest Ball, just to kind of rub it even further. I contemplate on whether or not I'm supposed to Teal Dance there, because, you know, it's not like I know if I'm going to be able to get another energy, but with the Noctowl, I'm pretty much assured energies. All I have to do is grab, like, an Earthen Vessel, for example, or a Crispin. So I really just have too many ways out of this situation. I'm double checking away energies just in case, but, you know, it's still so nice. And I can even just use the Nest Ball to go ahead and grab, like, just a Latias, I think. This is going to allow me to pivot in with the Raikou, get some extra damage. Helps to prevent some boss stalling. They can still pull up my Noctowl, but my Noctowl is also the first thing to go if they ever bump the stadium. And I'm just going to go ahead and get another kill against a Flareon. Really, really solid stuff here. I do think that, you know, maybe there's room for, like, a second Pikachu in the deck, which would be kind of swag. But yeah, like this whole archetype just seems really cool. It flows together like surprisingly well. I think that's just because like Crispin and Teal Ogerpon and even the Raikou V are extremely high value cards. They're so like you don't have to commit anything for them to be good, and so you just end up getting like a lot of additional value. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and retreat and take knockout with the Teal Mask. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the games, and I hope I'm right about the Tord thing, because that'd be a really funny prediction to get right. Regardless, I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys around. Alright, so, I learned that this is being streamed, and that Tord might literally pop up on stream right now. Hold on. He said he's on stream, so we're gonna go ahead and pause it until they play the match, and we're gonna see if we can get confirmation that he is going to be on stream. So yeah, let's go ahead and see this is what's gonna happen. All right. They're saying up the game here, and oh my goodness, oh my god, is that a fucking Ditto? Oh, I see Ditto, and I think I see Wellspring, or is that Black Hero? What the fuck is that? The hell? Okay, hold on. We gotta wait for them to put out a few more cards. I'm sure we'll be able to tell what this is shortly. Mew? Okay, there's a compare. Okay, yeah, I'm fucking correct. I'm always correct. Yeah, you better share the video or else.